Okay, so here we have a Toro walk behind lawnmower. What we're going to do today, we're going to remove the carb, we're going to clean it, rebuild it, and put it back on. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the air filter. And then we're going to remove this cover to get it out of our way. And it's just a quarter inch bolts up in there. Just lift that up out of our way. Pull the oil cap off. Put the oil cap back on, that way we don't get any crud down in there. That wouldn't be good. Okay. Okay, so from there, what we've got a little bolt here, 10 millimeter or 3/8, I guess is what it would be. You've got one back here, back behind it also, which is going to be kind of a pain to get to. So sometimes it's better to get down here and take these ones off and take this whole piece off. But it looks like to do that, we got to pull the muffler off also. So we're going to do that way. We're going to go ahead and do it that way. We'll pull off the muffler. And the muffler is just two 7/16 bolts. So we'll put the muffler out of our way. And these ones are going to be 3/8. Same with those. So those ones will be 3/8. So we'll take those off. We first got to remove the fuel lines. That was just a breather line, and then the fuel line down here. So I'll grab my locks to lock that. Okay, so we'll put our line locks on there so we don't. Okay, and then we're gonna have to take those off afterwards. So what we'll do, we'll hit this. I said they're just a 3/8. Well, 3/8 bolt holding that on. Okay. We remove this little spring right. This little spring has to come off, and then the little throttle lever. So we'll pull that spring. We will pull that. That's gonna have to go like. Okay. So we'll get this fuel line out of the way first, and it's just a little hose clamp there that you have to squeeze. Pull that fuel line off, and then we can get this. It's kind of a hook, so you have to turn it this way to get it off, which our fuel line is in the way, so we're gonna have to remove the fuel line real quick. Okay, so to get that fuel line off, you're probably a little bent pair of needle nose is probably your best bet. Squeeze that. Pop your fuel line out of there. Okay, so fuel line's off, and then we'll go ahead and just take this bar off altogether with it. It just hooks. Has a little hook, just like that. You just hook it to that hole there. Okay, so we got that out of our hair. So now what we do, we take this off of it. Just a couple 3/8 bolts. Get this out of our way. Make sure we keep all the parts. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a kit and a little nozzle in it. So first thing we do is dump it. Dump the gas into the trash can there. Okay, so we got that separated away. Next thing, you want to take this piece off, which is just a couple Phillips screwdrivers. And then we'll pull that off. Okay, so we just take these two screws out. That comes off. Pull that hose out of there. It's just the hose that just goes. There's a little hole right here that just pops in there like that. So just pull that out. Won't hurt to take this out. If you can. If you can't get it out, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you can, because it's got this little clip in there that it's hard to get out. You don't want to poke a hole in it. So it might not hurt to just leave that in, because you don't want to poke a hole in it trying to get the clip out. And the little clip that they put in there is just a little round clip that doesn't come in the kit, so you'd have to get a new one. And neither does the little bulb, the little primer bulb. If you do poke a hole in it, then you have to buy a new one of those. So I would just leave it in. Next thing you want to do, there's a little thing right here. You want to pull that little cover off of there's a little adjuster screw under there. Pull that out. Okay, and it's just a little flathead screw. And then you just pull that off. And it is a 1/2 inch. That off. Pull this out. Sometimes that gets stuck in there. This time it kind of looks like it's kind of stuck in there. It's kind of rusted in there. Sometimes you got to work it out. Like this one doesn't look like it's working very good. And there's our problem right there. That's all messed up. Our needle stuck down there. So basically, we got to try and get that out without damaging the rest of the carb. And if you can't really see it from the camera, but the needle's not opening up down in there, so it's kind of stuck. This one might actually need a carb, but we'll keep trying, see what we can come up with. Okay, so I was able to get that out just fine. So our needle. So we'll just pull our needle out. It doesn't look very good. Our bowl float's still in okay shape. And then we've got the little nozzle down in there. You just stick your screwdriver down in there and you pop it up. So you just grab a flathead screwdriver, stick down in there, pop it up. And then you might need something to help dig it out of there. So just grab a little pick. I'll kind of dig it out of there. if you can get it. Sometimes I grab a 90 degree and I'll stick it down in there and kind of push it up through. That pulls it right out, and then you've still got another little O-ring down in there. The one will come out with it, but the other one typically doesn't, so you have to reach down in there and dig the other one out of there. Can be a little bit of a pain to get that out. Shine a little light down in there. So we got the O-ring out, and then what I'll do from here, I usually will just walk it over to my cleaner. I'll take the bowl and this. Okay, so I use a ultrasonic cleaner. Then I'll drop the carb down in there, drop the bowl down in there, turn it on. I usually run about 170 degrees. And I'll run it for about an hour. And if you don't have one of these, you can just clean it out real good, spray carb cleaner in all the crannies and nooks and all that, and try and get it as best you can. This does a pretty good job, but like I said, not everybody has one of these, so you can just try and clean it out as best you can with carb cleaner and try and go from there. So as soon as this is done, we'll put the carb back together and we will put it back on and we'll test and see if it runs. Okay, so I got my carb out of the bath. Got it all clean. You want to make sure you clean this little hole right here. There's a little opening right there that you see on that one. Then there's a few little holes, a couple of them right up in there. Can't really see them good from the camera, but there's a couple of them there. You can see them. Got to make sure you clean those out real good. Take the seat out for the needle and seat, pull that out. Make sure you get all that clean. Clean this. Make sure you clean up in there. There's that little hole right there. The hole in there, you got to make sure you get clean out real good. And also in this one, tip and right there, there's a couple holes. You want to make sure you get those cleaned out real good. Some of them even have a hole up here on top of the threads. Sometime that you need to clean out. This one I don't know if it does or not for sure. Make sure if it does, you got to make sure, yep, that one does right there. There's a little hole right there that you need to clean out real good. And I also noticed that after I get it out of the cleaner that that thing's pretty much done, so we're going to change that out also. And I do that, like I was saying before, there's just this little clip that you have to pop out. You just grab a screwdriver and pull it out. Doesn't matter if you damage it, it comes with the thing, so we'll do that. Okay, so we got that out. It's just a little clip, like one of those. And the new one comes with one. Comes the part number for this particular unit is that's the part number. 640-259. That's the part number for that. Part number for the little nozzle is 640019. That's the part number for the nozzle. And the kit that we're using, part number for that, 632760B, and that comes with all the all the pieces. You won't need all of that comes with it. There's no need to change all that out, but it comes with it in case you do decide to. So what we'll do, we'll put the primer in first, and then we will go about rebuilding the carb after that. Okay, so you put the primer in. Sometimes you might need to just kind of push it down around there, and then with the clip, you can kind of see the teeth kind of taper up a little. You want to make sure those are up, and then again you'll just kind of push it down and around with your screwdriver until it's in place, right? Just do that, or find some way to get it down in there. So you just get your screwdriver, and at each of the little teeth you'll just push it down until it kind of locks in, and that's that. And then from there, next thing I'll do, I'll put this in. Like I said, they'll make sure you clean it out real good. And oftentimes I'll just use, if I can find what I did with it, but the little metal clip that goes on the tip of the seat, I'll just usually jab it down in the hole there and to clean it out. I usually just get that, and just poke that down through the holes. It's usually the perfect size for the tip of that, for the tip of this one, and also for the tip of that one. It's generally the perfect size, and also for the one right there at the top of the threads. Perfect size for those. So you just screw this one all the way in until it's snug. There's no need to adjust anything on it. You just screw that in. Then it comes with a little cap. You cap it so that nobody can go in there and try and adjust it, because there's no need for it. So you just pop that cap on, that cover on there, like that. And then with your nozzle. Okay, so we got that out. It's just a little clip, like one of those, and the new one comes with one. Comes the part number for this particular unit is that's the part number 640-259. That's the part number for that. Part number for the little nozzle is 640019. That's the part number for the nozzle. And the kit that we're using, part number for that, 632760B, and that comes with all the pieces. You won't need all of that comes with it. There's no need to change all that out, but it comes with it in case you do decide to. So what we'll do, we'll put the primer in first, and then we will go about rebuilding the carb after that. Okay, so you put the primer in. Sometimes you might need to just kind of push it down around there, and then with the clip, you can kind of see the teeth kind of taper up a little. You want to make sure those are up, and then again you'll just kind of push it down and around with your screwdriver until it's in place, right? Just do that, or find some way to get it down in there. So you just get your screwdriver, and at each of the little teeth you'll just push it down until it kind of locks in, and that's that. And then from there, next thing I'll do, I'll put this in. Like I said, they'll make sure you clean it out real good. And oftentimes I'll just use, if I can find what I did with it, but the little metal clip that goes on the tip of the seat, I'll just usually jab it down in the hole there and to clean it out. I usually just get that, just poke that down through the holes. It's usually the perfect size for the tip of that, for the tip of this one, and also for the tip of that one. It's generally the perfect size. and also for the one right there at the top of the threads. Perfect size for those. So you just screw this one all the way in until it's snug. There's no need to adjust anything on it. Just screw that in. Then it comes with a little cap. You cap it so that nobody can go in there and try and adjust it, because there's no need for it. So you just pop that cap on, that cover on there, like that. And then with your nozzle. Okay, on your nozzle, takes 2 little O-rings that come in the kit, and you want to put a little bit of grease on them just so that they slide down in there a little better. And just slip it down in there, grab your little screwdriver and push it in the rest of the way. Make sure your O-rings both go down in there all the way. So it should look like that. Looks good. And then your needle and your seat. You want to put your seat in there first. Comes with your little seat that goes down in there. That hole right there. You want to make sure it's got a little, that side, or it's got a smooth side. You always make sure the smooth side goes up. So smooth side up. Then they make a tool that you can use to put that down, but I just use a tip of like a T20 or something, or a little Allen wrench or something to push it down with. Push that down until it locks in there. You might need to grab your little screwdriver to help push it in the rest of the way. Alright, looks good. Then your needle and seat, you just flip that right over there like so. And then you put that in there. And then it comes with a new bar. You can slide through the holes there. And that locks that in place. So it's never a bad idea to have a little vacuum pressure tester. Just plug it in right there, just make sure it holds. Which it's holding D, it's dropping a little bit, but you got to make sure it holds, because if it doesn't hold pressure, it's not going to hold fuel. So you got to make sure it's holding right there. Perfect. See, it's holding. If it doesn't hold pressure, then it's going to leak gas. So make sure it holds. If you don't have one of those, you could be fighting it for a while. You just got to make sure that it holds pressure. So you go about half a bar, and any one will work as long as it's a vacuum pump, pressure pump. So like I said, you want to go to about half a bar. So from there, you just basically put it back together. You put your little O-ring on there, your little gasket ring right there. Put this back in there. Grab this and one of these little gaskets here. Just put it back together. That's how you rebuild it, and then you just got to put all this stuff back together, how that came all off, and We'll have to figure all that out as we go. I think it went like that. So we'll put all that back together and then we'll be ready to put it back on the unit. Okay, so I got that back together. Sure you put that clip on the right side. It goes on the inside of the unit. And just put these back in. And that's that. We're ready to put this thing back onto the mower. At this point, it's not a bad idea to drain your fuel and spray it off real good, clean it. You got to make sure when you put it back together that you get your linkages all in right. So you got to try to make sure you remember how it came off. Okay, I didn't really show you originally when we took it off how the linkage looks, but the linkage should look like this. The spring one goes back underneath behind this one, so you got to make sure you put it right. And then there's a bunch of little different holes on top of here. You got to make sure you remember which one it went in. You want to make sure you put it back in the right one, or you're going to get some throttling issues. So things back together. So we're just going to bolt everything back up, hook the fuel lines back on, and all that, and we will be set to go. All right, going back together nicely. Now we just got the muffler. I just gotta stick that muffler back in place and we're good.